As if 4 straight losses weren't bad enough for the Dolphins, Tua Tagovailoa is now back in the concussion protocol for the second time this season, and he's unlikely to play against the Patriots this weekend, so Teddy Bridgewater's in line to start in a must-win game with the playoffs on the line, so we'll see what he can do, but this gives me everything I need to know about what happened to Tua in the second half of that Packers game, because it was just a total collapse from him and the offense. He was playing really well in the first half. I think he had like 10 completions for about 200 yards and touchdown. The Dolphins were up 7 at halftime. And it's just uncharacteristic of him to throw 3 interceptions on 3 straight drives in one quarter, including the interception on the game-winning drive, on what could have been the game-winning drive at the end of the game. And there's been interceptions that Tua has thrown where the ball's underthrown, bad ball placement, just straight up bad throws. But these interceptions in the Packers game, one was just an overthrow over Tyreek's head. The next one was, it would look like a misunderstanding with Raheem Mostert or something. I don't know whose fault it was. Mostert said it was his fault, but of course he's going to say that Tua said it was his fault. And then the third one was just a bad read. And those are all mental mistakes. Like maybe the first one may have just been a bad decision, but the second and third were just not a good job reading the defense, maybe misunderstanding, forgetting what the play was, and that makes sense now that we know that he may have had a concussion in that second half. I'll play the play right now. It was late in that second quarter, so of course it was before he started playing really bad in that second half, and I was pretty scared when it happened. It looked too familiar to that play against the Bengals on Thursday Night Football, but I didn't really think much of it. He got back up, he played the rest of the half, he played the rest of the game, but now seeing that he was placed in the concussion protocols makes total sense, because I do think that he probably did have a concussion in the second half of that Packers game. And knowing his mentality makes sense that he didn't even mention it to anybody until this morning. But like I said, we don't know if he actually did have a concussion, but considering the way he played in the second half and all the symptoms he had, it's looking like he most likely did. But in my opinion, I think you have to sit Tua down for the rest of the season. I don't think you can put him in the concussion protocols and activate him before, play him less than a week later against the Patriots. I don't think he's going to play this weekend. I'll talk about Bridgewater, what's going to happen, whatever, in a bit. And for the Jets game, I personally don't know. The playoffs may be clinched by then if the Jets lose to Seattle and we beat the Patriots this weekend. So there's really no point to play him. I do think that he will play in a wildcard weekend scenario if we make the playoffs. But I don't see him playing this weekend, and Week 18, if the playoffs are on the line, probably, but if they're not, we already have it clinched. I doubt he plays that game either. But now I'm going to talk about what the Dolphins are going to be looking like this weekend. Like I said, if we can beat the Patriots in Foxborough and the Jets lose to the Seahawks, the Dolphins are officially in the playoffs, claiming the last wild card spot in the AFC. But yeah, I really don't expect to see him this weekend. So like I said, it'll be Teddy Bridgewater. And in his defense, Teddy Bridgewater's not even played a whole game that he's been expected to play in. The Bengals game, of course, he came in the second quarter. The Jets game, Skylar Thompson came in after the first play. The Vikings game, Bridgewater came in at like halftime. So we've been on and off with the backup quarterbacks every single game. So barring injury, please, hopefully, Teddy Bridgewater doesn't get injured, because obviously Skylar Thompson is not ready yet. Teddy Bridgewater hopefully should have the full game to actually game plan, and we'll see what he can do, but I think we've learned from the weeks that Tua's been out that this offense is a completely different team when Tua's not on the field, so hopefully McDaniel can make some adjustments, get the second playbook for Bridgewater out of his back pocket. So we'll see what happens this Sunday, but multiple playoff clinching scenarios obviously starts with the win. I was really excited for this game too, considering we saw Tua finally be able to ball out in the cold weather in Buffalo a couple weeks ago, so I was really excited to see what he can do against the Patriots in Foxborough. But that'll have to wait, I guess, unless we see Tua play. Obviously, I'll make a video with the preview coming on probably Friday or Saturday. We'll see. But that'll wrap up. Tua back in the concussion protocol. Looking like it'll be Teddy Two Gloves getting the start on Sunday. Well, either way, we'll see what happens. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have a great day. Peace.